It's wrong to assign him a tag of opposition. He was more than just that.
But he has opposed
and I've said,
that's what begets the tag.
He's one of the greatest African statesmen. He may not have been elected a president, but his posture, his leadership, charisma, and operations defines him beyond that. He was a leader beyond such definition. Like when you look at 2007 elections, how we were going to end that stalemate was not going to be very easy. But you see, the conflict that ensued thereon after the bungled election led to the power sharing. And he was able to concede to the power sharing, and we had a very robust and productive 5 years of a coalition that we saw the promulgation of a constitution on 27th of August 2010. And that constitution has been very consequential to the governance of this country. And this country may never be the same again. Though he lost elections in 2013 and 2017, probably as a result of the effects of the coalition. But when you looked at what he did in January 2018, January 30th, to swear himself as the people's president, and the authorities at that time were in panic, and all the media stations were switched off. And look at the mammoth crowd that gathered at Uhuru Park. Very electric. He never needed to mobilize people. You only need to be present to announce where he will be, and people will be there. And that is where the title Baba came from. And nobody could ignore him. And it is worth noting that Uhuru realized for him to govern, he needed him. And that is why there was that handshake. And the handshake which came without some limited privileges. Mm-hmm. But you see, by 2022, there are those who coalesced around him for him to be president. And below him, there was a student of his school of leadership, one William Samoei Ruto, who is now the president. And so it was ODM versus ODM. It was the teacher versus the student. But beyond the elections of 2022, because very many of us were interested in seeing how such a conflict would be resolved. Some of us were very close friends to Raila, at the same time close friends to William Ruto. But you can see the product that came up, the broad-based government, it took root so fast, it brought a lot of reconciliation. It gave Raila a bigger father figure image. That's why I can't define him as an opposition leader. At the end of the day, he was a moral leader within this country, above the presidents. Okay. And I would say his death is the second most consequential after the death of Jomo Kenyatta. So to me, I would not say Raila Odinga was in the category of opposition, but then he was a bigger statesman. And beyond here, he will remain very consequential. Right. You know, there are people who die, but their spirit lives on. They remain consequential. It is now when people will be adding up and see the milestones of what he achieved. People are questioning, what is a broad-based government all about? What is it that is happening? But now people can appreciate the product of the same. The country is very stable, extremely stable. And we have seen what leaders do in terms of sacrificing personal interest for the interest of the state.
All right, and it's probably important also, Abubakar, as we continue this conversation, to remind Kenyans that we do expect official communication from the government, the president, announcing this heavy piece of news, even from the family. So yes, that communication will be coming your way, and we'll be on standby.